Okay, Joan Wasser, welcome to Australian Musician.
Good to be here, an Australian musician.
You've just got back from the UK and Europe, playing some shows over there. How was that tour?
It was amazing. Yeah, it was really wonderful.
Yeah, and you're just about to jump on a plane to New Zealand and then Australia. What does travel do for you as an artist? Is it just a means to get to play shows, or does it inspire creativity?
Um, it I mean, it depends what part of the travel you're talking about.
Yeah.
Um, Most of the travel is a challenge of acceptance, constant flexibility, and ability to to just shift in a moment's notice your entire idea of what that moment or day or week is. Um, but some of it is really it's certainly inspiring. I get to see so many places and I get to see them in a way that I wouldn't see if I were not touring. I do not see the regular things people, you usually go to Lisbon to see. I don't often see those things. I see, a lot of other things. I mean, certainly I see the inside of the venue, and sometimes that's all I see, depending on time. But I get to see, you know, just that area of where the venue is and how life is there, and that's always interesting.
Yeah. The tour of Australia is a solo tour. Um, the songs you're showcasing mainly from the current album, Lemons, Limes, and Orchids. Is it a matter of going back to the basics of the song the way you wrote them, or do you like to further tweak them for a new tour?
Yeah, both. Depending on how I've been performing them. The solo show is like it's probably half from the new album and half from the other 6 or 8 albums. And I mean, I certainly really enjoy sort of covering my own songs, writing new arrangements for them, changing the meter and the form, etc. It makes it just fresh.
Yeah. So, what's the starting point for rearranging a song?
If I'm bored of it, or if it was originally recorded in a way that I don't really play any longer, um, or if I start to in performing it, I start to hear something else that co is coming out that wants to be revealed in the song. A variety of ways. A mistake I could make would be like, ooh, that sounds good. Go with that.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
when you write a song, do you feel that okay, that song's now complete, or is it just a version that you've completed and it may have many more lives?
In the moment, because I've been working on it, it feels like this song is complete. And then it also can have many more lives. But when I'm working at it in the moment, it doesn't have a lot of forms. I want to find the form that I'm going to record for, that album or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a song on Lemons, Limes, and Orchids that is closer to your heart than others?
It's so hard. That's like a Sophie's choice type of question. Um the title track is very precious to me for sure, but really all the songs make the record, and I still think of music as a presentation of a number of songs together, an album. And without any of them, without one of them, it wouldn't really be the universe that it is. Um, you know, I think any day I would choose a different song. So,
Yeah. So is the track order important to you?
oh yeah, very, very important. It's probably the thing that it just takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of time. Do you make music?
Do I? Not really. I just fiddle with the guitar rather than write stuff.
Okay. I was just wondering if you've ever tried to sequence a number of songs for an album.
No, but I've put together uh,
Mixtape.
mixtapes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know how different a song can sound after another song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how do you approach songwriting? Are there certain conditions that inspire songs? Like, is there a time of day or a certain room or a frame of mind that generates song ideas for you?
It really can happen anywhere, honestly. I mean, I'd say that I'm sort of a night person, so definitely most things happen later. Um, I think it's mostly if I have something in here that I'm trying to work out, it will come out, it'll come out as a song. And sometimes I'm sort of compelled to go to the piano and I don't quite know why. And then while I'm there for a while, I'll figure it out
Yeah.
because of what I start singing or the feeling of what I'm playing.
Is it hard for you to switch off? Are the antennas always up?
Um, you know, sometimes I'm not in a space where I feel like writing. And I don't that doesn't bother me. It's sort of I know that it's like a time where I'm gathering information, um, or just, or just like resting for a second, um, which is so necessary for when the creative impulses do come.
Yeah. So, excuse me, on this Australian tour, will you be playing guitar as well as piano?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
I've noticed in some of the videos and interviews you've been doing, in regard to your amps, you use quality vintage sounding gear, such as old Ampegs and Magnetones and Fender Deluxes. Where did that awareness or preference for warm, vintage sounding amps initially come from?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm an absolute studio nerd. So I'm the most happy when I'm in a studio with a lot of amazing gear. Um, I grew up listening to music that used the best stuff, like just all of that 60s and 70s music, just, you know, they used the equipment that made just the richest tones. And beyond that too, obviously in the 80s and 90s, etc. Um, but I've just always been interested in making like just a round, beautiful, warm tone. Um, I studied violin classically through college. And, you know, it's got four strings, and I would hardly ever play the high string because I don't want to hear that. I want to hear the lower stuff. I've just always been attracted to sort of like anything in the lower alto and below.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you're recording, do you reference classic albums that you love that you when you're talking to a producer?
Yeah, I do. I do most of my producing myself. Um, and I have right now in my apartment, I have 6 vintage guitar amps. It's basically, um, you know, the furniture that can't really be used as furniture ever. So, but yeah, there's a lot of listening and sometimes figuring out what they used as equipment. But in New York City, there's such a culture of of using vintage gear, and just there's a lot here, so it's not hard to find.
Yeah. Was there
Yeah,
was there a store in New York that you frequented in your younger days?
I got so much of I got so many of the amps that I own when I moved to Boston to study, and I bought so much equipment then because it was when I was first in the studio and recording on 16 track 2-inch machines, and just was so into it. And I got all of the vintage gear. It wasn't called vintage gear then. It was like used shit is really what it was. And I was so excited about it. Was cheap as hell, you know. And so I got so much stuff for so little money, and I don't get rid of things. So now I still have it. I mean, I think I bought 3 or 4 different Ampegs that I still use. They're all different, some Geminis and a Reverber Rocket, and so.
Yeah. And piano wise on this tour, have you requested a acoustic piano, or will be using Rhodes and Whirly sounds as well?
I use a grand piano. Yeah. It's just for a solo tour, it's just the best. It's just the most magnificent instrument. And why not use it? The whirlies I can use with the band.
Yeah. And at what stage do you frame a set list?
At what stage?
Yeah, of a tour. Do you work it all out before you go on tour, or do you read the room?
Often I will have a sketch of what I'm thinking about. I always craft the set list to naturally warm up my voice. So, and that can, I can sing songs in different ways. So it's sort of like what flows the best, as well as how it allows my voice to sort of bloom over the set.
Yeah. You've collaborated with so many incredible artists like Lou Reed, Rufus Wainwright, John Cale, Sparklehorse. Has there been one artist where you feel you've had a deeper musical connection than others?
Um, you know, Working with people is so fun because it's like you get to experience their universe, and how they approach music and how they feel music, and then also, how they collaborate with someone else. Um, I made a record, the record previous to this I made with Tony Allen, and Tony Allen was the the drummer for Fela Kuti, and he and Fela created Afrobeat, and Nigerian drummer who is one of the greatest drummers that's ever lived. And lucky enough to get to play with him. We did some music together and just really got along. And then I asked him to record, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, let's do it," you know. And so I improvised. When I was in Paris, I didn't I just did like a improvisational session with him, and then the pandemic happened, and so then I made a record by slicing up, by doing tons of editing of that improv and creating songs with it. And I just got so close to his drumming because I did so much editing. You know, it's one thing to listen to the tracks as they are, and like I can get so into the sound and the feel of drum tracks, but then when you start like doing surgery, it becomes this whole other crazy relationship with the sound. So that was a really special collaboration.
Yeah. Do you have any collaborations in the works, things coming up?
Um, Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always also just like ready to meet whoever it is that I'm going to be doing something with next. I get asked so often, is there someone that you want to collaborate with? And it's like, yes, but I don't know who that is yet. You know, I feel just like I want to always remain open to 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 what that might be, because never in my wildest dreams could I have ever imagined making an album with Tony.
Yeah. Well, what about bucket list projects? Maybe something in a genre you haven't worked in before, anything like that in the back of your mind?
I really don't think that way. Sort of like I just like sort of like I just keep moving forward and stuff reveals itself. I know that sounds kind of woo-woo, but it's just like how it happens.
Yeah. What are you most proud of in your music career?
That I'm doing it at all. I mean, you know, it's pretty I never wanted to be a singer. I never wanted to be a songwriter. You know, I studied violin and I really loved doing that, but I loved also all different kinds of music. So I started playing my violin with all different kinds of music. And I just I never sang. I never cared about that until all of a sudden I did. And then I just got the bug of songwriting and singing, and somehow now I'm here, you know, 20 years into a solo career with like 10 albums or something like that. And um, you know, so you know, life is wild and really like wonderful and never what you expect and always better.
Yeah. Well, Joan, it's been great to chat, and we look forward to seeing you very soon down here in Australia.
Oh, I can't wait to get there. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to it. Thank you so much for your time.